Hi, my name's Brian Goldberg, and I'm going to do an interview for Investors Org today, and we've got Peter Cameron. Peter, welcome. Thank you for coming.
No, it's my pleasure.
You've been around a few years now,
I have
and
been
you've
around
looked at
a lot of years, actually.
but in the startup scene,
Right, yeah.
and you're one of, in my views, a great expert in the startup scene because you understand a lot of technology, which is good. But from your words, tell me what you look for in a startup.
I guess I see startups. Let's go back a little bit. I see startups as a way of the future. You know, when I grew up, we could go to university, and we finished university, and there was a job there. The kids coming through uni now, and as kids grow up, there's not the abundance of jobs that there were previously. So startups is a real opportunity for kids to create a business for themselves, create a life for themselves, create a working environment for themselves. And I think that's a really interesting way the world's changed. So I think startups are fundamentally hugely important to Australia, and the whole innovation culture is hugely important to Australia going forward because it gives us a way for employment for our youth, but it also creates opportunities to create global opportunities for us, I guess.
Yeah, that's a really good background to it. That's
Yeah.
right. But then in looking at the startups, and you've looked at a few.
What do we look for?
You've looked at a few.
Yeah.
From an investment perspective, maybe different from just young
Sure.
guys starting up. From an investment perspective, what are some criteria that you think they have to have, otherwise they're not investable?
Well, I guess what we've got to do is we've got to have a real opportunity to start with. You know, there's got to be a real opportunity. There's got to be a real problem they're solving. It's got to be a big problem, probably. So, there's enough business there to justify all the hard work, the blood, sweat, and tears that goes into creating investment. If a startup, if there's investment required, it's got to probably be a bigger one than a bigger opportunity than if you're bootstrapping, because you've not only got yourself to feed, but you've got all these investors that will want to be part of the action and want to see a good return as well. So it's got to be a real opportunity there. It's got to be big. It's got to be a problem. It's got to be that there's an audience for the products.
A great insight. And on the founders themselves, do you think the founders need certain qualities, or do you look at a combination of the opportunity in the founder? Or what do you look for in a founder?
It's got to be both, but the most important thing I think is the founder and the team that they put around themselves. A good founder with a bad opportunity can maybe create something.
Right.
A bad founder with a good opportunity doesn't necessarily create anything worthwhile. So you look. I always look for someone who's smarter than me. Find the smart people. Find the people who are putting smart solutions together.
And that's hard to do. Peter is smart.
No. That's very easy to do. Find the smart people. Find the people who are coming up with innovative solutions. How can we think out of the box to create a solution here? And there's lots of people out there who are doing it. Find the team player. Find someone. For me, it's would I want to go and have dinner with this person? As an investor, we're starting a relationship, and this relationship hopefully will go for a long time. And so I want to work with people that I can work with, that I like, that I enjoy working with, that maybe are open to they're not pig-headed and say this is the way to do it, but will be open to opportunities and to see that there may be other ways to do that. Maybe that are open to input from the investor, if that makes sense. If the investor's got any experience in the field. Someone who's a team player, someone who can inspire people, someone who is just a nice person, I guess, and a hard worker. They've got to be driven, though, as well. They've got to be prepared to, being a founder of a startup is a lot of hard work. There's a lot of heartache along the way. At times you want to give up, and so they've got to be tenacious. They've got to be, willing to go that extra mile. and I think you can see that in people, the way that people relate, the way that people do things, the problems they solve, how they solve those problems, etc.
Very good. So you mentioned earlier that it needs to be a big problem as a good foundation for a startup, but does it need to be a global problem?
Depends how big the problem is. You know, for us, my business was totally focused on the Australian market when I was in business. That was because we had a product that was fairly ubiquitous and everyone in Australia needed. If you've got a ubiquitous problem, a product that can be ubiquitous, you don't have to go global. But you know, there's a big market out there, in a big global market out there. We're a very small minnow in a global market, and so if you've got a product that you can take globally, I think that's always a good thing.
That's excellent. Wow, these are some great insights, and I feel that you'd be a lucky startup if they got you as a investor supporter. So tell me, what are you up to now? What's keeping you busy?
Okay, I work as a venture partner for the Giant Leap Fund, which is an impact fund, and so what we do is we're supporting founders who have got impact, so a social and environmental benefit built into the DNA of their business. And so we're supporting those businesses with Series A. So the Series A rounds funding. So they've got to have some traction, a track record of success, you know, high growth. So it's not the seed investments, that next level to help, and we're helping taking those businesses to that greater to that next level, I guess. So
excellent. And are you seeing some exciting projects, or not enough?
Oh, we're seeing lots. We're seeing lots of businesses. We're only funding a few, but there's a lot we're seeing. We've got some really harsh criteria. Harsh is probably the wrong word, but some stringent criteria that we look at, and that impact really has to be embedded into the DNA. You know, and there's got to be something that we think can really make a difference to the world.
So on that, from an investor's perspective, and probably guidance to other startup investors, is it good to be focused as an investor?
Yeah, I think it's great to be focused as an investor because, I say it in one hand, but when I look at my portfolio, it's not necessarily focused; it's all over the place. You know,
no, you can preach something. That's all right.
You can. But you know, I will see a founder that I love and an opportunity that I love that sort of, you know, that goes right outside my investment thesis. You know, we've got this investment thesis as a fund. I've personally got an investment thesis there for those, but then someone comes up and I think, I love you and I love this opportunity, and so I shouldn't, but sometimes I do that.
But that's all right. You have to try.
That's absolutely.
No,
but it's very much about the founder in that situation. You know, the founder and the opportunity. And they're solving a big problem, or it's just someone special.
That's great. That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. That's really
pleasure.
Really good to hear what you're up to, and good to hear your insights. So thanks for coming in, Peter.
No worries.
All
Thanks,
the best.
Brian.
Bye.
Cheers.